How's it going, everyone? This is Rival Indigo, and today I just wanted to talk about 3 things that would make Warzone great, according to me. So we're going to start at number 3 and work our way to what I feel is the biggest one, and I actually have a bonus at the end as well. So let's start with number 3, no vehicles at the end game. I know this is probably just a personal gripe, but I have been in the end game so many times in the top 10, top 5, and somebody just manages to drive around in circles in a big truck or something and run people over. And it just doesn't seem like a very legitimate way to win the game that's all about survival and all this tactical thinking and all that. I know it technically is not against any rules, and some people would say, well, just blow up the damn car. But oftentimes you're simply not in a position to do that, and the car can outlast considerably more fire than an actual person running around could. So, and like I said, when you got a big truck barreling towards you, you're just trying to run or hide or whatever. It really doesn't feel like a very fair way to end a game when you get down to the top 10, the top 5, etc. So number 3 for me would be find a way to eliminate vehicle use in the end game of Warzone. Possibly once there is a certain amount of players left in the game, at that point, maybe just all vehicles are disabled. Number 2, I think this would just be a really cool aesthetic and at the same time could actually affect gameplay and strategy quite a bit. But I would add weather and possibly day and night as well. Some of these maps, I think, or areas of the map could actually be like really cool if if some sort of storm could just blow across the world. Like, not the entire map. You wouldn't have a thunderstorm or whatever going across the entire map, but just certain areas of the map. Obviously, it's a very different genre of game, but Forza Horizon 5 was able to do storms and other weather that would go across certain areas of the map that you could actually drive to or drive away from. And I think it would actually be really cool if throughout the map there was the chance for maybe a thunderstorm to pop up over here, maybe the wind blew up a dusty storm over here, and just kind of change things up so that the map is not static. And the same thing with adding day or night. It could drastically change things. You could introduce night vision, and maybe moonlight and things like that would play a role. I don't know if I would have it so that it would change during gameplay, but maybe when you load in, it's like, oh, this is a nighttime one. Now, I know there could be issue there with maybe somebody doesn't prefer to play day or night, one or the other, and therefore you could have people quitting before the match even starts. So I can see how that might be an issue there. Either way, I think it's something to explore. Perhaps it's been brought up and perhaps they are exploring these things, or maybe they're just like, you know what, we don't care. But either way, these are things that I think would make Warzone great. So number 2 is add weather, dynamic weather, and add day and night to specific matches. Number 1, I think, is going to be the most controversial take here, because I think there's a lot of people that just will not accept the concept because of how they've come to play Call of Duty and how they've come to play Warzone in particular. But I would say, to really get the most out of Warzone, eliminate loadouts. Yes, I know everybody loves the idea of, oh, here comes my favorite guns, my favorite perks, and my sidearms, and other things, and this is going to win me the game or whatever, give me this advantage. And I actually think that right there is in fact the problem. There are so many weapons and loadouts that become the meta in one of these games, and oftentimes if you have a certain style or you want to play with some cool weapon or set up on your weapons, and you don't play with the loadouts that are meta, you're at a big disadvantage. And so it's not as fun when you go, you know what, I really like the P90. Well, I don't think it's listed as the P90 in Warzone, but for instance, that's my favorite gun of any kind. So I've got a P90 that I've got really decked out to my play style. It's got all the attachments I like, fully set up for how I want to play. And it's actually a pretty effective gun. The problem is you have some meta weapon, and everybody who wants to get out there and get sweaty and grind out these games and act like they're some sort of esports pro player, and I'm assuming streamers and all that sort of thing, they find the meta and they set up all their weapons and perks and everything to match the meta. And they're going to be the ones going after the loadout same as you, but there's going to be disparities. Unless everybody just plays the meta, there's going to be this disparity in this game. I think that the way to solve this and make the game truly a survival battle royale, as it's implied through the way you play it until a loadout arrives. Just get rid of the loadouts. No more metas. You parachute into this world with your pistol, and from there, every weapon, every item, every sidearm, every type of ammunition, whatever it is, that is what you get. Kill streaks and all those sorts of things. That is, you have to make that work. You have to find a way to win for that. It would encourage more scavenging. It would encourage people to get better at a wider variety of weapons, play styles, and, finding new tactics, Like, for instance, I'm not a big fan of sniper rifles, but recently I've been like, you know what? I want to get better at this. I want to have a slightly different experience. I'm going to pick up marksman or sniper rifles and start using them, at least as my secondary weapon. But I feel like you would encourage a lot more variety in weapon selection and play style and skill development if you removed loadouts. And then you would also eliminate metas, forcing more dramatic endings, in my opinion. Sometimes you have what you have, whether it's what you picked up from the map or what you got, when you won the gulag and came back into the game at the end of the match. That's what you got, and you got to run with it. I think that would make a drastic difference in the way that Warzone plays. And while there would be some probably pretty big pushback on it at first, overall, I think the quality of play or the quality of experience would go up. And you would find that people, like I said, you'd have to develop new skills, and people wouldn't be able to just grab their loadout. And now they got the meta weapon that is going to just mow down everybody that comes near them. Maybe now they're stuck using a random 2 attachment Hurricane SMG and some random pistol they picked up, and then, well, I've got a frag grenade and a snapshot grenade. How am I going to make these things work when there's 15 players left in the match? And then when you kill somebody, now you have this bigger reward of, well, what did they pick up? What weapons did they find? Did they find an orange cache? And now they've got some kind of 5 attachment, custom weapon from that. So I think that I think it's a pretty good argument in my opinion. And like I said, I'm almost 100% sure that the majority of the community would argue against it, because everybody likes their specialized loadouts. Everybody that wants to be sweaty or is a streamer, wants to look good, they want to use the meta weapons. But I feel like to elevate quality of experience and quality of play, eliminating loadouts is like the number one thing that you could do. All right, leave your feedback, give me your comments. If you want to argue, if you have a different opinion, I totally get it. But I really think it's a good idea. And if you have some better ideas of things that would, like, very quickly, these are 3 things that I think would instantly change the game in ways that are either fun or aesthetically pleasing. So if you have some other ideas that aren't just tiny little nitpicks, throw them in the comments. I like this discussion, or hit me up on Twitter and let's talk about it. I would say I play a lot of Warzone, but not on like I'm going to stream this every day. You know, I'll sit down and play 5-6 matches in a night, you know, take a break for a day and then be like, oh my God, I want to play Warzone, and come right back home from work to play Warzone. So I love the game. I've enjoyed it since 2020. And on that note, the bonus, the other thing that I think would be pretty awesome to do that would really improve Warzone for everyone, and I think this is almost universally agreed on, just give us Verdansk.